Now, as we mentioned, big day for Alex Rins. Another win here. He's well in the hunt in the World Championship, but he's been in this position before, and the pressure has sometimes got to him. He's made mistakes. If he can go mistake-free today, then it's a different Alex Rins that we are dealing with.
Yeah, I don't want to remind him, but the last time he qualified on the front row was at last year's Dutch TT in Assen, and he crashed out of the lead. Crashed a week later, of course, didn't he, as well, in the Sachsenring, so he has blown big opportunities of late.
We're in the Teruel region, and this is Teruel from the helicopter as well. A beautiful part of the world. The inaugural Liqui Grand Prix of Teruel coming up, of course. Alex Rins himself has spent so much time in this region. A lot of friends and family watching from home, giving him great support here. And also he said that the key thing about Aragon as well is it's not really affecting that shoulder. So good luck to him from third on the grid. Let's hear from Pecco Bagnaia. It has been a really tough weekend for the Italian. He's down in 18th on the grid. Can he muster anything up here in the race coming up? Dan Simon.
Yes, Pecco, it's been a tough couple of events for you, but also Ducati in general at Aragon. What are you hoping to rescue in the race?
Let's try. We have nothing to lose, so I will try to push from the start to recovery gap and recovering position. Let's see. It will be very difficult for us. Our bike is not working very well on this track, but we will try to arrive in the top 10. It will be hard and difficult, but we will try.
Pecco, thank you and best of luck.
Yeah, thanks, Simon. Good luck to Pecco Bagnaia, because it has been a very difficult couple of weeks here in Aragon. Every time he said he's tried to push that little bit harder in the braking zone on that front, he's just been upside down and crashing. So tough race coming up for the former Moto2 world champion, down in 18th spot.
Pol Espargaro starts from 9th place on the grid at the back of that third row on the Red Bull KTM. The highest placed KTM 7 days ago, Brad Binder in 11th. They all want to be featuring in the top 10 here today. Is there a last minute change going on here for Maverick Vinales on the grid?
If Rins goes soft, he's going to try and bolt, isn't he? He's going to try and use that advantage of the soft front tyre. We know last weekend Morbidelli on the medium front took him 3 or 4 laps to really get into his groove. Rins perhaps thinking here on the soft front, soft rear combination, he can execute plan A, get away and then manage it as the Suzuki so brilliantly does in the second half of the race. It's going to be fascinating. I'm intrigued to see whether Alex Rins is going to chuck himself right into left field and be the only man to run that soft front tyre.
Plan A for Joan Mir. Get that launch control system hooked up nicely. He needs a really good start. It's not a long run into turn 1, so you've got to find good track position. But the first few laps of the race, crucial for the World Championship leader.
He's confident, supremely confident that he's got the pace to get on par with the likes of Rins and Taka Nakagami. Spectacular countryside surrounding this famous Motorland Aragon circuit. It really is one of the most picturesque parts of Spain and Catalonia, isn't it? We can pop back down on the grid to Simon Crafar, who's got Petronas Yamaha SRT boss Wilco Zeelenberg to talk to, Franco Morbidelli on the front row of the grid, and Fabio Quartararo trying to wrestle back control of the World Championship in 6th. Let's hear Wilco's pre-race thoughts on the grid with Simon.
Yes, Wilco, both your riders really fast. Also last weekend, but it seems like tyres getting them to the end of the race has been the difficult thing for the Yamaha guys. Is the tyre decision difficult here on the grid?
Well, it's always not easy, as you know, and you know, the less points to give away, you feel the pressure in the paddock, you know, even for Moto2, Moto3 and MotoGP. Yeah, there are only a couple of races to go, and the championship is completely open. So it's all small details are very important, and yeah, as you experience yourself as well, everybody is trying to keep as much as information for themselves.
And so you're confident that your bike can go to the end this week, or it's unknown?
Well, yes, of course, this is our aim. We struggled, of course, big time last weekend because, yeah, from P1 to P18, you cannot say that is something to be proud of. It was a hard one to swallow, I can tell you that. Especially the conditions we had was actually quite good for us. But yeah, the bottom line, we had nothing to fight for and with. So hopefully this is a different story today.
Wilco, thank you for your time. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks Wilco, thanks Simon. Row 3 then, Crutchlow, Oliveira and Pol Espargaro. Row 4, we just saw Alex Marquez starting from 10th. He'll look to charge forward to try and get his first win, and it's a career best 11th on the grid for the 20-year-old rookie Iker Lekkawone.
Yeah, confident he can find himself back inside the top 10 today. 9th and 10th in both Red Bull Ring races, the best we've seen from the 20-year-old rookie. Not higher than 14th in his last 5, but he's looked in great form, leading the KTM charge in a couple of sessions so far this weekend. Here is then your World Championship leader, Joan Mir. Will we be saying that in about an hour's time or so, or will there be another dramatic twist in this 2020 MotoGP title chase?
12th on the grid as well, puts him on the inside, nearest to pit wall. So he's going to make a beeline, isn't he, for turn 1. Let's go down on the grid now and then get the pre-race thoughts of Alberto Puig. Could this be another day in the sun for Repsol Honda? Down to you, Simon.
Yes, Alberto, I haven't felt this year the possibility for Honda so strong. What are you hoping, for who? How do you think the race will play out?
Well, we will see. I mean, here the start is complicated. It's very narrow at the end of the straight. So it's very important to get a good start. And then, I think that all of our riders have a good rhythm. So they have to find their pace, not lose in the first lap, and then just go. I mean, they prove they are fast, so they have to fight for 45 minutes.
One more quick question. It seemed to me, looking from the outside, that the Honda keeps the rear tyre, that soft rear, going better than some of the other manufacturers. Are you hoping that that's where an advantage will come in towards the end?
On my opinion or experience here, I think we should really think in the front wheel, not on the rear.
Okay, good luck with that hard front.
Yeah, thanks Simon, thanks to Alberto Puig. Stunning shots in the terrain surrounding this famous Motul and Aragon circuit, as we said. What's going through the mind of this young man? Taka Nakagami's first pole position since his Moto2 career, his home Grand Prix at the Twin Rimotegi back in 2017. What's going through this man's mind as well? Andrea Dovizioso desperately trying to find a way through some of the struggles that the Ducati's had so far this weekend to keep himself in World Championship contention. We felt coming into this weekend, he felt the same, Ducati too, that they need a podium with a couple of tricky circuits coming up for Ducati. Valencia, never traditionally a successful circuit for them with cool temperatures, and then of course the journey into the unknown in Portimao, where a lot of people are saying that will be very much a circuit that will favour the Yamahas and the Suzukis.
They may well feel that 17th on the grid, despite only being 15 points down the championship, like there's nothing to lose. Will they gamble on a massive setting change here ahead of this race? Andrea Dovizioso, and here is Danilo Petrucci then. No birthday celebrations really for him in terms of how qualifying went. 19th on the grid, and already that Le Mans win feeling like quite a long time ago.
Yeah, difficult times for Danilo Petrucci. He said yesterday, well, at least he's going to start in front of the safety car. Might have lost his pace, he's not lost his sense of humour. Fabio Quartararo then looking for a much more trouble-free race than what experienced last weekend. That problems with the front tyre pressure, a humbling experience, as Wilco Zillenberg just said, dropping from pole position to outside the point scoring places. I get the feeling that Fabio Quartararo will be really happy to get out of this 23-lap battle with a top 5 under his belt, a solid point-scoring finish, regroup and come back stronger at Valencia, a circuit that he knows, or he thinks, the Yamaha will be more competitive.
You have to wonder though if he'll get tempted into a scrap with Joan Mir, who's bound to be coming through. Will that just change his tactics slightly when he sees the number 36? It's really interesting, isn't it?
At the back of his mind as well, with Rins and Nakagami ahead of him, if they both on the podium, they're dragging themselves back into championship contention as well.
So what can Ducati do today? Warm-up looked a step in the right direction. Can they go another step better here today? They certainly need it. Davide Tolozzi's on the grid with Simon.
Yes, same thinking, Steve. Davide, did the morning warm-up setup changes help, and how much, are the riders happy going into this one with the setting?
Yeah, we are pretty confident that this morning we found something. The warm-up was not so bad, but starting from the back of the grid, it will be difficult to gain positions till the top guys. But anyway, we will try to do the best and be on the top 10.
one quick question, tyre-wise, is it more for you difficult to get the front tyre or the rear to the end of the race?
Both. In the end, we see that every rider has problem with the front, trying to enter with some speed. They have no confidence with the front, while in acceleration, till that you don't have a certain degrees, we have no grip at all in acceleration. So we lose of the best point of Ducati, that was acceleration till last year. Now this tire has more grip, but not for us in the mid corner, in the mid situation, you know.
Thank you for your time and best of luck today.
Thank you.
Yeah, best of luck to Davide Tardozzi. There is Dorna CEO Carmelo Espeleta. You just saw that come up onto the screen. There were a couple of very, very far-fetched rumours going around that there could be some changes to the end of the season schedule, but just confirming there, the Dorna boss, that with the current PCR testing underway and the bubbles that are going on, despite a weekend off after this, we will be going to Valencia for the doubleheader and Portimao as scheduled.
Yeah, all systems go right now for what looks like it's building up to be a very tense and nail-biting conclusion to this MotoGP World Championship. Those two men know each other very, very well, of course. Mike Leitner, former crew chief to Danny Pedrosa at Repsol Honda and in the 250cc days, and Alberto Puig, former manager and mentor of said Danny Pedrosa as well.
What is going through the mind right now of Taka Nakagami on pole position? He said so often that the tactics for this weekend were to get a better start and get into a rhythm, but he wasn't actually expecting to get pole, not for a long shot. So it's going to be really fascinating to see how he copes with that. Brad Binder here. There'll be a bit of a charge coming from Brad. 15th does not reflect his speed. Quite unfortunate, actually, just to miss out on a place in Q2. That's just how competitive MotoGP is, but they have made steps forward since last week. A top 10 on the cards for Brad Binder.
Got a fight on his hands to be Rookie of the Year, which looked like it was going very much the way of the South African. Alex Marquez's recent resurgence then puts him right in that battle. There's your two men in this World Championship battle then right now, with just 15 points covering the top four men. Fabio Quartararo goes from the back of the second row in 6th place on the Petronas Yamaha SRT. And new World Championship leader, Joan Mir. We've not had a Suzuki rider in this position for 20 long years. Kenny Roberts Jr. back in 2000, the year he won the world title. That was the last time pre-Aragon 1 a Suzuki man led the MotoGP World Championship.
Amazing, isn't it? None of the top 4 riders in the World Championship, separated by 15 points, are actually on the front row here. It's a tense atmosphere ahead of this Grand Prix of Teruel.
And they're all surrounded by men with nothing really, a lot to lose, like Johan Zarco. The virtual fan wall, the fans are getting excited. You just feel like there's that extra tension for some reason building up to this Grand Prix. The riders know, the teams know, the clock ticking down towards the crucial phase of this 2020 World Championship. Vital, precious points at stake here today. Pecco Bagnaia way down at the back of the 6th row. Behind this man, German Stefan Bradl, who's done an excellent job replacing Marc Marquez yet again so far this weekend.
Yeah, he's testing that new carbon reinforced chassis for this race to find out whether or not that's a step in the right direction for Honda in general. He's been having a good weekend. Other than that crash yesterday, everything was going pretty rosy for Stefan Bradl, so it'll be fascinating to see how he gets on in this race. 5 minutes to the race start as the BMW M8 roars up towards turn 1.
You know what a tough weekend it's been so far for Ducati. Very modest ambitions and expectations then from Davide Tardozzi. They'll be happy to get out of here with a top 10. Those kind of results, though, are not going to win you World Championships, are they?
Here is Bradley Smith on the factory Aprilia, 21st on the grid. Simon, down to you.
Yes, I'm with Mayo Mirigali. I want to know about his rider, Maverick Vinales. Only won this weekend without Valentino here. I'm curious what you think. His speed has been brilliant, but coming into the race, it doesn't always go well, especially towards the end, tyre-wise or feel. Do you think you fixed those problems from last week?
You never know. We work during this weekend to try to improve a little bit what he felt that was still missing during the last GP. But also today I think we just took a little risk because we choose to go soft. And during last GP, he was extremely happy with the front. And most of the other are using medium, and I think that's can be a little advantage. The drop we had last weekend, it might happen again, even if we try to improve it. And I also understood that during the last race, when it took time to understand and to change his riding style, to adapt the last grip provided by the tire. So I think now it will be more quick. Thank you.
Will Taka triumph in Teruel? We're about to find out. 23 laps of Motorland Aragon coming up. Joan Mir, your World Championship leader, with work to do from the 4th row of the grid. Nakagami, Japan's first pole sitter in MotoGP in 16 years, on the front row with Franco Morbidelli and last weekend's race winner Alex Rins. Maverick Vinales, Johan Zarco and Fabio Quartararo go from that second row. It looks like Alex Rins is going to stick with that soft compound Michelin front tyre. Plan A for him is to try and escape at the front and manage the tyres in the second half of that race.
Let's have a look and see whether Alex Marquez has gambled on the hard front as well. There's Alberto Puig, Tetsuhiro Kawata and Takeo Yokoyama. So as they go away then on this warm-up lap, some changes on the grid that perhaps we did not expect. Gamble potentially taken by Alex Rins. Nakagami leads the field away on this warm-up lap then. 23 laps coming up in MotoGP. It went all the way down to the wire last week. Are we in for another thriller here? And can Taka Nakagami become the first Japanese rider to win in MotoGP since 2004?
Long time ago, of course, Makoto Tamada, wasn't it? Back at the Twin Rim Motegi, we've not had a Japanese rider on a Premier Class podium since Katsuyuki Nagasuga in Valencia 2012. The last time a Japanese rider took a podium in the dry in MotoGP, Shinya Nakano, way back in Assen, 2006.
Slightly warmer than qualifying in FP4 yesterday. 22-degree air temperature at the moment. Some of the cloud cover has gone. Track temperature up to about 29-30. So all in all, pretty good conditions for a motorcycle race.
You just know in Alex Rins' mind, his mindset is to get the whole shot with Suzuki's brilliant launch device, which he used to such great effect last weekend. He's going to try and use that again here today, get the whole shot, and he's going to try and clear off. That's clearly what's in the mind of Alex Rins with that front tyre choice, the soft option.
The famous Aragon wall, who will be leading out of there on this opening lap as the helicopter flies over. Every point matters in MotoGP at the moment. Joan Mir on 121, Quartararo 115, then it's Maverick on 109, Dovi on 106, and the man on pole, Taka Nakagami. If he wins today, he is well in championship contention heading to Valencia.
There were a couple of late changes on the Michelin tyre list, most notably from Maverick Vinales, as Maya Meregali said. He, on the grid, switched over to the soft front tyre, as did Pecco Bagnaia. So Rins, Vinales and Pecco Bagnaia, the three men that have gone for Michelin's soft front. Everybody on the soft rear, apart from Fabio Quartararo on the medium, Jack Miller and Tito Rabat. So there's a couple of left field tyre picks from the Championship Challengers here.
Wow, medium rear for Fabio Quartararo. That is quite a surprise, it has to be said. Here comes Taka Nakagami for the first time in his MotoGP career. He starts from pole position. The green flag waves at the back. We're ready to go here in Teruel. Away we go, the lights go out, a brilliant start, a dream start for Taka Nakagami, but here comes Alex Rins as well. Nakagami will lead into turn one, a brilliant start for the LCR Ran, but he's wide.
Oh, there was almost a clip there, wasn't there, between Morbidelli and Alex Rins, so the place that Rins gained on Italian.
Who's that? That's a Ducati. It's a Ducati that's gone down.
It can't be Andrea Dovizioso, surely not again on the first lap for Desmo Dovi.
Nakagami leads from Morbidelli and Alex Rins. Oh, Nakagami's gone!
He's blown it!
Oh, his dreams have gone already!
He's fluffed his lines on the very first lap. The first mistake Taka Nakagami's made all weekend, and he's out of the lead. Heartache early doors for LTR Honda.
Can you believe what you're seeing? unbelievable, it's Binder and Jack Miller who have gone down as well.
3 riders already out of this Grand Prix. The inquest begins between Miller and Binder. What happened between those two on that squirt between turns 1 and 2? But can you believe it? The red-hot favourite, the clear favourite, Taka Nakagami, down and out early on here in Aragon.
Heartbreak for Nakagami. Let's regroup. Morbidelli leads from Rins. It's Johann Zarco on the Ducati, the 2019 Ducati Sponsorama Racing, in 3rd. Then it's Maverick Vinales, and look at Joan Mir. Mir's past Fabio Quartararo. A brilliant start from 12th on the grid. He's up to 5th, the championship leader.
Can't take much more of this heart-stopping drama and tension in MotoGP. Can you believe it? Nakagami already on the floor. There's no way that Vinales is going to outdrag the Ducati GP19 of Johann Zarco down this long back straight.
Oh, my heart is pumping through my chest. I feel so sorry for Taka Nakagami. But where do you look in MotoGP at the moment? Here's Cal Crutchlow getting aggressive, looking to make a move on Fabio Quartararo. He'll get out of the slipstream and might make a move into turn 1. Pol Espargaro also very, very aggressive.
Nakagami caught cold literally by a cold left-hand side of that front tyre as he swept through turns 4 and 5. He's going to be absolutely dejected.
Just further back there, Dovi almost got himself in all sorts of trouble. I don't know who that was with. It looked like Aleix Espargaro and Andrea Dovizioso. No surprise to see that the incident involving Binder and Miller is currently under investigation. Franco Morbidelli it is then that leads. There is Nakagami, and this is going to hurt and sting for some time.
Yeah, this is a real tough one to swallow. Poor old Taka Nakagami. You thought minimum today, if everything went his way, he'd be on the podium. Everybody thought he was nailed on for the victory. But Nakagami on the floor at turn 4, heartache and pure dejection and frustration for him.
What a time to do it as well. He's been in the top 10 of every single race so far this year.
And you've got to say, Steve, that is it for his championship challenge. Not a lot of people were backing him to stick his nose in the title fight, but I think that's done and dusted now for Nakagami. He can forget about that one.
Now, let's have a look for now at this, what happened between Binder and Jack Miller from the start. Both of them got away okay. Through turn 1.
There's contact there, wasn't it, between Rins and Morbidelli by the looks of it, as well off the line.
I'm looking at Binder. Binder's gone into the back of Jack Miller. He's gone in a bit hot.
Did Miller, though, just check up in front of him? It looked like Miller may well have just checked, maybe a bit worried about something ahead of him. 6.5 does the other for me.
Probably a racing incident, but for now we focus on this race ahead. There's Alex Marquez, just ahead of Pol Espargaro, but behind Cal Crutchlow, who's desperately trying to find a way past Fabio Quartararo.
You can see how quickly Mir's been able to gap Fabio Quartararo, who's now come under real pressure from the charging LCR Honda of Cal Crutchlow. LCR Honda hopes are now on the broad shoulders of Crutchlow.
Oh, wide there from Fabio Quartararo. Surely Crutchlow goes through. Crutchlow's wide though and allows back through Fabio Quartararo. Crutchlow will be getting a bit frustrated with this because it looks like he's got the speed over the Frenchman.
Morbidelli, the quickest man on the circuit by a whisker, 48.554, about a tenth quicker than Alex Rins behind him. Zarco looking strong still in that 3rd place. He made the start that he wanted as well. Vinales right now tucked up in 4th spot. We're looking back now at the famous stare of Cal Crutchlow.
That was a brilliant shot of Cal Crutchlow's eyes. There's Morbidelli. Everything A-OK so far, but Rins will be desperate to get through on him, given that he's got that soft front tyre on. He's got to make a break because that may well encounter some issues at the end of this race. And Johann Zarco, so far so good for the Frenchman, an outstanding job in 3rd.
Taka Nakagami, as we said, caught out with that cold left-hand side of the front tyre. Full fuel tank, bad combination when you're trying to attack. He got the start he wanted. He was leading the pack. Really unfortunate for him then. Franco Morbidelli will drop down the hill into turn 14 for the 3rd time of asking.
Simon, down to you.
Yeah, just quickly, guys, I find it super interesting. Marquez, Alex has made it through those first 2 laps where you need to get temperature into that hard front, and he's lapping the same sort of speed as the guys around him. I think it's going to be super interesting what he can do to our second half of the race with that hard front tyre.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Now, here's the replay of Nakagami. Was he slightly wide? He was, wasn't he? He was slightly wide just on the approach to turn 5.
Front just locked as well, didn't it, from underneath him. Cruel for Taka Nakagami. There's no podium attack from Taka today, unfortunately. And Morbidelli and Rins have clicked into a serious pace here as
Alex
well.
Marquez. In fact, just as Simon's saying that, he's got through on Crutchlow, and now he's also got through on Fabio Quartararo. So that hard front tyre, temperature in it for sure. He moves up into 6th.
Interesting pick, wasn't it, from Alex Marquez? Because yesterday, having tried it in FP4, he liked it, but said he didn't feel like it gave him the best feeling on the left-hand side. We saw last weekend, he could put that Repsol Honda on a sixpence. He could put it anywhere he wanted on the circuit. Now, that hard front tyre could pay dividends big time in the last 10 laps of this race, where we know the grip is going to drop away, as it always does here in Aragon.
Morbidelli still with the lead, ahead of Alex Rins, who's looking to try and make a move and thought about it on the flick left into turn 9. Downhill they go. It's Zarco in 3rd, then Vinales and Mir in 5th. Alex Marquez 6th, Fabio Quartararo 7th.
Nothing to worry about here for Alex Rins. He knows that Morbidelli's not pulling away from him.
Oh, poor Taka Nakagami. That's horrible to see. Bless his heart.
Yeah, there's going to be tears tonight for Taka, unfortunately.
You've got to feel sorry for Taka Nakagami. It was looking like potentially being the dream day. He'll have another chance though. There's no flash in the pan from Nakagami in 2020. In the background there, Joan Mir getting on terms with Maverick Vinales. Thomas Spargaro is up to 8th. He's gone through on Cal Crutchlow. Joran Zarco's just falling away from this group, and Alex Marquez is closing.
Yeah, high 148s from Marquez on that last lap, about 3/10 away from Joan Mir. There's Cal Crutchlow, got himself in a KTM sandwich right now. Ahead of him is former Tech 3 Yamaha rider Pol Espargaro. Behind him, that looks like the hard-charging Miguel Oliveira, who's about to fire up the inside of Crutchlow. Yeah, smoke pours off Oliveira's left boot, but on the brakes he gets the job done. That was Dovizioso in hot, wasn't it, at the first corner?
Yeah, I think that's a lunge up the inside of Iker Lecuona. So as wide as he was, he's made up a place there, Dovi. Fastest lap of the race. Alex Marquez at 48.186, and that is right on the cusp of the best race lap set by Lorenzo and 5 years ago.
That spells danger for the front runners, because if Alex Marquez can run that pace right now, he's got that hard front tyre up to nice working temperature. You've got to feel like he's going to have the better front tyre grip towards the end of the race. So has he pulled off an absolute tactical masterstroke here, Marquez?
Some of the fans happy, a couple of Nakagami fans disappointed with the early stages of this race, but there's so much to come here. So many tails that could still twist. Here is Joan Mir, desperate now to find a way through on Maverick Vinales, but can't quite force his way up into 4th place. The pair of them are catching Zarco, but the pair of them are also being caught by Alex Marquez on the Repsol Honda.
Yeah, and will Maverick Vinales' late switch to the soft front tyre be justified? Will it reap rewards for him? Right now he's finding it so difficult to get on par with Johan Zarco. But the Ducati here, when you wind it up to 4th, 5th and 6th gear, that's where it has a clear advantage over the factory Yamaha.
Good lap coming in here from Franco Morbidelli as well. He's not buckling under pressure, that's for sure. He's maybe just gapped Rins by another 10th. We're on board here with his teammate, with Mir, Rins' teammate Joan Mir. Across the line we go, 18 laps to go, and yeah, it's a 48 flat from Morbidelli. That is an all-time lap record set by the Italian at the front of this race.
So much quicker than his teammate Fabio Quartararo, who at the moment is fading back down the pack again.
Will that medium rear spring back into life in the middle stages of this race, though?
We'll be hoping, because they're all starting to gang up on Quartararo at the moment. Pol Espargaro and Oliveira are reeling him in pretty quickly.
Good job so far then from Franco Morbidelli. 48.089, an all-time lap record for him. There is Mir then, he's got company. Alex Marquez is all over the back of him. We're now on board with the number 73.
And Alex Marquez in the fast corners, turns 10, turns 16 and 17, how he could turn that Repsol Honda without overheating the tyres and generating wheel spin was incredible last weekend. And he's going to have the better tyre life and endurance with the hard front tyre. Pecco Bagnai's entered the pits, not quite sure what's happened early on with the Pramac Ducati, man. A forgettable day for Francesco Guidotti's Pramac boys. Jack Miller out before turn 3.
Mir will have been told that Alex Marquez is coming, and it will have worried him. He had to get through on Maverick Vinales, and that was lovely through turn 12. So Joan Mir then up into 4th place.
And it looks like Marquez well capable of making light work of Vinales as well. Look at it, swarming all over is the 73. He's going for it right now. It's
That's
beautifully
close.
done. That's class.
That is close and class.
Yeah, brilliant.
Onto the back straight, and the Yamaha, no answer for the Honda in a straight line either.
Look how tight he could turn it on the hard front. Everybody was saying that the Honda in the past was hard to turn, a bit of understeer. No dramas whatsoever for Alex Marquez. Mir was running in a little bit wide there, wasn't he, through 16 and 17?
He was. He really was. Across the line we go then. Franco Morbidelli with a 48.2. Keeping an eye on the rest of the lap times. Yeah, Alex Marquez in good shape at this moment. Johan Zarco, you have to hand it to him. He's doing a brilliant job so far. Still holding firm in third. Here is Fabio Quartararo, and as Matt mentioned,
He's got bother here, big style, hasn't he?
yeah, he is being joined by a couple of pretty hot-looking KTMs right now.
He's nowhere near the pace, Steve. He's still on that last lap. The previous lap, 8/10 slower than Morbidelli. Last lap, 6/10 slower than Morbidelli. So he's just nowhere even close to being on the same pace as his teammate.
And at the moment, as it stands, he's losing another 4 points, crucially, to Joan Mir in the World Championship.
He's going to be hoping that those guys behind him on the soft rear are going to hit grip problems. This was that beautiful move by Alex Marquez
The
coming
front
into turn
almost
14.
Almost tucked the front in the process, but yeah, brilliantly done.
The trust he has in that front tyre and the front end setup of that Honda is quite incredible. You can see he was lining it up. Let's look at this move from Joan Mir's Suzuki. Awesome, absolutely beautifully done by Alex Marquez. And straight away, to be fair to him, he's been able to gap Vinales quite comfortably already through sector 2 on this current lap. Marquez has pulled away from Vinales by nearly 7/10 of a second.
Here he lead us from the helicopter. That's around 3/4 of a second between Franco Morbidelli and Alex Rins. There is Zarco in third.
You've got to feel that Mir and Marquez will probably help to get on Zarco's rear tyre quite easily, passing him on that Ducati. Well, that will be an altogether more complicated challenge.
There is Joan Mir, the World Championship leader, looking for his 6th podium in 8 races. Johan Zarco so far, well, they'll be delighted with his efforts. He's been informed that he's got Mir and Alex Marquez behind him. The gap between Mir and Zarco right now is just about half a second. In the background, Pol Espargaro now all over the tail of Fabio Quartararo in the battle for 7th.
You have to credit Quartararo because he's digging deep here. Every point prices for the World Championship. He was slightly quicker on that last lap than Pol Espargaro to keep the Spaniard on the KTM behind him.
The pace as ever, so close in MotoGP. Iker Lecuona in 13th place is lapping just as quick as Morbidelli at the front of this race. Is just being at this moment closed down a touch by Alex Rins.
If you heard a thud at home, it was probably Maverick Vinales' jaw hitting the floor because he's just not got any pace at all to go with Alex Marquez. Marquez has already taken a second out of Maverick Vinales, only passed him a couple of laps to go. How tight did this get between Morbidelli and Rins on that squirt down to the first corner? Well, that tight. They rubbed elbows, didn't they?
Oh, that was a nasty crash, wasn't it? Here's a view from Alex Marquez. He got front row seat at that.
Yeah, not the first time this year, is it, that Brad Binder's been caught up in a little bit of drama at turn 1. Friendly fire on Miguel Oliveira in the Andalusian Grand Prix, wasn't it?
Meanwhile, at the front, the gap opening between Alex Rins in 2nd and Johan Zarco back in 3rd. Now, will that be a concern for Joan Mir?
Isn't it interesting as well? The two men yesterday that were asked in press conferences this weekend, are they going to help out their teammates to win the World Championship? Are Franco Morbidelli and Alex Rins, the pair of them, saying, hang on a minute, we're still right in this championship battle, and they really, really are. Look at this, Morbidelli poised to close within 22 points of Joan Mir if you threw the checkered flag right now.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how this one's unfolding? All the while, MotoGP ticks off the laps. The more you're convinced that this is going all the way down to the final round in Portugal. That's Fabio Quartararo, who must have been coming into Aragon thinking it was going to be a pretty good couple of weeks. Right now, he's struggling. He's in 7th place. Mind you, he's in better shape today than he was last time out.
What about a Dobby check? Nothing really fantastic happening for Andrea Dovizioso, who's losing more crucial ground in the championship. He's down in 12th place, trying to get on par with the Aprilia of Aleix Espargaro.
Top 3 all running different tyre combinations. Medium for Morbidelli. Soft from Alex Rins. Zarco's going to do well here to hang on to third place, because it looks like Joan Mir and Alex Marquez, as you can see now on your screen, are starting to close in on the Sponsorama Ducati rider.
Yeah, at the moment, Morbidelli making far more of a fist of it on the medium combination than what his teammate Fabio Quartararo is right now. And these two have started to make a pretty decisive break, haven't they, back here to the likes of Zarco, Mir and Marquez.
Mir might not be so concerned about that, because he might think Morbidelli and Rins, okay, yes, they're almost 2 seconds up the road for now, but there's 14 laps left when they cross the line next, and it'll be the latter stages where you think Morbidelli and Rins would maybe hit some trouble in terms of tyre durability.
Yeah, what's the gap? Mir on that start of the last lap.
Zarco's way wide there, around turn 70.
2.5 seconds back. Let's chat the gap over this line. Davide Brivio looking on. The gap between Zarco is 3/10 back to Mir.
Here comes Pol Espargaro. Sorry, Matt. He's making a move on Fabio Quartararo. That's another place drop for the Frenchman. He's trying to fight back, but it's no good for him, and he might just find that Miguel Oliveira slides through shortly.
Yeah, right now Mir off the podium, but increasing his advantage in the World Championship here with Fabio fading.
Aleix Espargaro having a slightly better run as well, just behind Cal Crutchlow on the Aprilia. He's 11th ahead of Dovi. Dovi just in turn ahead of Iker Lecuona. Top 10 still on the cards for Andrea Dovizioso. And as it stands, if the checker flag went out right now, it wouldn't be the end of the world for Dovi in the World Championship.
But you know how much he's having problems getting that rear tyre hooked up under acceleration. The Ducati must have 20 or 30 horsepower on that factory Aprilia directly ahead of it. But Dovi can't accelerate and get the drive out the corners to line Aleix Espargaro up. And we've heard repeatedly Aleix Espargaro say how much he's lacking acceleration on that RSGP. So for Aleix Espargaro to be keeping Dovi at bay right now is a stellar performance by him.
Seems like a matter of time before Miguel Oliveira makes a pass here on Fabio Quartararo in the fight for 8th place, and he may well find that it happens here on this back straight, because Miguel Oliveira will have much more speed on the Yamaha here on this back straight. It's a 1 kilometre long back straight. Up the inside he goes, side by side on the approach into turn 16, but Fabio is late on the brakes.
Now then, Mir starting to pile the pressure on Joan Zarco. That's as close as he's been to the Sponsorama Racing man throughout this race so far. Yeah, the gap's come down to under a 10th now, so he's right on Zarco's case.
Alex Marquez still there as well in 5th. There's a gap back to Maverick Viñales now, who's actually being caught by Pol Espargaro. So Viñales also in trouble.
There's been a couple of times this year where Mir's spoken of getting stuck behind the caddies for too long. He's gone for it. He had to do that. He had to do that because Morbidelli and Rins are starting to break away. The gap had gone up to 2.7 seconds from Rins back to Zarco. Mir could see those two just breaking away. He had no choice. It was now or never, really, if he's got any desires of closing in that top 2.
Yeah, well, Zarco now has got trouble in the form and shape of Alex Marquez, who we ride on board with.
Remember in Catalunya, it was 2 or 3 laps, maybe a little bit longer, that Mir got mired behind Miller. And the problem was it just cost him that time at the end of the race where he couldn't reel in Rins or Quartararo.
I think he's got time to make up 2.2 seconds. I really do.
Look how quickly he's driving away from Zarco's Ducati, though.
Alex Marquez will not want to be stuck behind Joan Zarco for too many laps here if he has ambitions and hopes of being on the top step. It was wide there from Joan Zarco through turn 12 as well. This is a big opportunity for Alex Marquez. Can he do it in the flip-flop here?
Yeah, he's going to go for this at turn 15, isn't he? Is he going to be close enough to try and make the lunge?
Not this time.
No, he's not. He'll try and maybe. He was so good last weekend. How many overtakes did Alex Marquez make in turn 16 and 17 in Aragon 1? But look at the Ducati. Just pulls out those crucial 3 or 4 bike lengths on the Honda, which is going to stop Marquez attacking him on the brakes.
Zarco does sometimes run a bit wide through here, and through he comes.
Yeah.
Look at that line he holds on the Repsol Honda. Alex Marquez goes through into 4th. Can he hold on though on the start-finish straight? Across the line, Zarco bites back again. He's got the inside line. He will make the block pass into turn 1, and that's going to cost Alex Marquez crucial time.
It really will. Yeah, this will be frustrating Alex Marquez because he's the faster man, clearly faster right now than Joan Zarco. This is giving Joan Mir a bit of breathing space in that 3rd place.
Here he comes. Yeah. That was lovely. Again, that's exactly what Joan Mir just did. He had to do it. Can Johann Zarco find a way back through?
Well, he'll be blocking and defending like his life depends on it now, Alex Marquez. Particularly, he'll know he's got to get the good drive out of turns 14 and 15, so Zarco can't slipstream him down the back straight. The way that Alex Marquez, though, can turn that Honda through those final couple of corners, it looks like it turns now the Honda here in Aragon as good as that Suzuki.
Zarco here is not letting this one go, is he?
No, you know that he is an absolute warrior, Johann Zarco. He will not surrender any position without a dogfight. Morbidelli at the moment is comfortably controlling Alex Rins. In fact, that's the biggest advantage the Italian has had. Turn 12 last year, those two ran into each other, got Rins a long lap penalty. At the moment, they're keeping a rather safer distance between the two of them. At the moment, they're on course for a 1-2 to bring themselves right back into championship contention.
Fabio Quartararo still can't get any pace going. He's a second slower than his teammate leading the race. He's in 8th place at the moment. Here's Pol Espargaro still closing on Maverick Vinales. 12 laps to go, there'll be 11 in a moment because the leaders are approaching the final couple of corners. 2.6 seconds the gap now between Rins and Mir, so they've actually extended it on this lap.
Fair play to Fabio Quartararo. He's brilliant on the brakes into turn 16 this weekend. That's where he had all the problems last time around. Although, has he just lost it? I think he has. Oliveira got him. I was just about to say, Quartararo has been so good on the brakes at the end of the back straight. He's had to be to defend positions. And now Pol Espargaro moves up the inside of Maverick Vinales. Quartararo in turn gives it back to Miguel Oliveira, who almost wipes the nose of Cal Crutchlow too.
What a group this is. Dovizioso's also gone through and Aleix Espargaro, so Dovi is up a place into 11th.
Every single point priceless for Fabio Quartararo at the moment, particularly with Joan Mir in 3rd place and Long gone up the road, particularly as well with Morbidelli and Rins dragging themselves back in the championship contention.
Lecuona there charging through underneath Aleix Espargaro. He goes up into 12th place, the number 27.
Cal Crutchlow and Andrea Dovizioso about to engage in a dogfight as well. They fought for 4th place here back in 2012 when they were Tech 3 Yamaha teammates. That was a pretty famous battle. Aleix Espargaro, he fires it back up the inside of Iker Lecuona. These boys are mixing it like it's a Moto3 scrap.
Yeah, and any mistake here and it can cost you quite a lot. There's 7 or 8 bikes here all chunked together. These are your leaders out front. Half a second covering Franco Morbidelli and Alex Rins.
Yeah, now conventional wisdom suggests that Franco Morbidelli is going to have the better grip at the end of the race by the virtue of the fact that he's got the medium tyres on. Completely opposite to Alex Rins, who's got the soft front, soft rear.
Conventional wisdom really hasn't played much of a part in 2020.
No, but Franco Morbidelli, Rins cannot get inside that half a second. Oliveira is going to have another pop at Quartararo down the end of the back straight. And yet again, Quartararo really hard on that front end of that Petronas Yamaha and somehow still keeping the Portuguese man behind him.
Oh, good drive out of that last corner. Wilco Zeelenberg must be a bit concerned at what he's seeing on screen at the moment because we're past halfway distance and here comes Miguel Oliveira and Fabio Quartararo drops to 9th place in this race. He bites back, someone's gone down. Someone has gone down. Well, I can hear something.
It's turn 2.
It's one of the guys out front. Alex Marquez has crashed out of this race.
Oh,
the hard front has bitten at turn 2.
Honda's horror show in MotoGP continues. More tears in Teruel for HRC. Nakagami leading the race out on the first lap, and now Alex Marquez, who was making great progress inside the top 4. He's out at the second corner.
This is Alex in 4th, flicking it right. He crashed there last week, and down he goes here in the race with the hard front. And that will be the question mark at the end of this race when they analyse what's happened. Alex Marquez, of course, didn't play a significant part in the championship. We thought he'd play a part in the podium, but that's one less rider. We've only got, what, 17 left in this race.
And weren't Nakagami and Marquez the only 2 men that have finished every single race so far this season? Nakagami certainly was the only man inside the top 10 every week.
So now nobody has finished every single race this year. It just is incredible, isn't it? Right, half a second still up, Morbidelli on Rins. Then it's 2.7 seconds back to Joan Mir. Zarco then goes back up into 4th, and 5th is Pol Espargaro. That's the live championship as it stands. Morbidelli will only be a race win away from the championship lead.
And look at Maverick Vinales right now, who is the slowest rider, or one of them, out there. He was the slowest man last time around by a long way inside the top 10. He's dropping like a stone. He's only 18 points down the championship.
Right now, as it stands as well, Joan Mir not making any headway on the top 2.
No, he's not. The last 2 laps, Morbidelli and Rins have done 48.8s. It's a crestfallen Alex Marquez. He was trying to reel in Joan Mir for another podium battle. It won't be a three-peat in terms of podiums in MotoGP for Alex Marquez.
At some point in the next few laps, we're expecting to see Joan Mir start to come into his rhythm. It was about lap 14-15 last week where he ran into trouble, but traditionally, this is where Joan Mir starts to size his way through a field. He's 2.6 seconds down at the moment. That's quite a lot of time to find.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Steve, the last 2 laps, Morbidelli and Rins both did 48.8s and Mir did a 48.9, so there's nothing between their pace. Mir is just a tenth slower than these guys, but the problem is he's let them get away by 2.6 seconds.
Because he was stuck behind Zarco.
Yeah, and he qualified 12th. That was a big problem for him as well.
A bitterly disappointing day for Honda here. 2 men with great chances of finishing on the podium and maybe even winning. And Nakagami and Alex Marquez, unfortunately their great runs come to an end here at the Grand Prix of Teruel. Now, Dovi has gone ahead of Cal Crutchlow. He's moved into 9th. I mean, he is from Salvage City, isn't he? Andrea Dovizioso. He can't believe his eyes at what's going on here.
I thought he'd used up all of his get-out-of-jail-free cards already by this stage of the season. Miguel Oliveira must be sick of the sights of this Petronas Yamaha SRT machine, and he's got at the inside of Quartararo again on the brakes into turn 16, but again, he can't make the pass stick. He's got the inside line again. Can he make it through this time around? It looks like he has finally made that move. Can he keep Quartararo at bay on the brakes now into the first corner? We're about to find out.
Well, Dovi's eyes are about to light up because there is Fabio Quartararo ahead of him, one of his championship rivals.
If you want a man to launch rescue missions, it's Andrea Dovizioso, isn't it? He's great at getting himself out of tricky situations and scenarios. He's been brilliant again. Alex Marquez, what a wretched day for HRC. They must have thought pre-race they'd be fighting for a double podium. That's how good Taki Nakagami and Alex Marquez have been all weekend long, and both of them are not going to see the checkered flag.
This is a great ride from Podium as well. 5th place for the Red Bull KTM man now. There are your 2 leaders. There's Joan Mir. That gap still 2.6 for now for Mir.
The quickest man of that top 3 was Alex Rins, who normally is so good.
Tommy, 24 points down at the end of this. He'd chop your arm off for that. That is incredible. Whatever they found this morning in warm-up, it's been good enough to get them into top 8 contention and not top 10, and it might yet get better for Andrea Dovizioso. Simon.
Yes, guys, after last week's race, I found out that Mir's rear tyre had more left on it than almost all his competitors. I'm wondering, you know, he was let down by the front tyre, the soft, last time. He's got medium on, so that shouldn't happen again. I'm wondering if he's waiting for the right point to pull the trigger and go and use what he's saved in that rear.
Yeah, thanks for that, Simon. Well, the big question mark is if he is saving himself, surely he's got to pull the pin soon because we are running out of laps.
He's 3.1 seconds behind, and Franco Morbidelli and Rins' pace is so strong. You can't see them dropping that far back into clutches of Mir. Got to give an enormous amount of credit right now to Franco Morbidelli. Every time you think Rins is about to jump all over him and get right on his case, he finds that little bit extra, another 10th to pull away. Aleix Espargaro comes from a long way back to lunge up the inside of Andrea Dovizioso, and that's going to frustrate Dovi. I mean, Aleix Espargaro just ran him out off the curb there, didn't he?
Well, he sent him into Alpinif, didn't he, there? That was a little bit too deep and hard, wasn't it? But hey, rubbing is racing is what they say. Aleix Espargaro, with that, moves up into the top 10.
At that point, Dovi's thinking, right, okay, right ahead of me is Fabio Quartararo. Let's try and work out a strategy to get ahead of the Frenchman. And now he's got to do that hard work all over again, taking nothing away from Aleix Espargaro, because he has to make those kind of moves because the Aprilia hasn't got the drive coming out the corners with that lack of horsepower. So Aleix Espargaro perennially said, oh, Dovi.
Oh dear. Well, the salvage job, has it gone? Is there an issue?
No way.
Is there an issue for Dovi? What's going on? He's just ahead now of Danilo Petrucci, but that's precious points just being thrown away from the Italian. There's Ika Lecuona. He's about to make a move on Cal Crutchlow. He goes up the inside, and now we have 3 KTMs inside the top 10.
Just aggressive, wasn't it, by Leclerc to get up the inside of Crutchlow down the hill into turn 12.
Woke up this morning believing it would be Honda's day, that they could challenge the Suzukis. At the moment, there's not a Honda in the top 10. 2 of them have crashed out. 3 KTMs are up there. What's next in MotoGP?
It looks like Dovizioso just ran in way too hot in the reverse corkscrew. It's been a shocking lap for Dovi. Came over the line in 9th place, got ran wide by Aleix Espargaro, and then wide into the reverse corkscrew. Leclerc and Crutchlow come sweeping through.
Pit Byron nodding his head in appreciation of his men. 3 of them, Pol Espargaro, Miguel Oliveira and Nico Leclerc inside that top 10. Brad Binder will be disappointed, he's out of the race of course. Dovi getting in a bit wild and out of shape as he tries to find a way through on his former teammate Cal Crutchlow.
Terrible lap that by Dovizioso, the 52-1. That's really cost him dearly. Crucial World Championship points going begging as well there.
Well, the fastest man of that group, by the way, is Stefan Bradl, we should just point out, on the Repsol Honda.
Yeah, he's covered himself in no end of glory, hasn't he, replacing Marquez.
At the front, Franco Morbidelli is breaking away from Alex Rins. It's now up to almost 8/10 of a second.
Yeah, last time around, to his credit, Morbidelli was the only man still able to lap in the 48s. Only just a 48.977, but crucially it was a couple of tenths faster than Alex Rins in second place. That gap just under 8/10 of a second.
And as the 2 stronger, in inverted commas, Yamahas of Fabio Quartararo and Vinales drop back, still holding strong out front is Franco Morbidelli, looking for his 2nd race win of the 2020 season.
Yeah, you can bet the boss watching at home, Valentino Rossi on the couch in Tavuglia. Probably not a lot of fingernails left on the 41-year-old's hands right now. He'll be willing Franco Morbidelli and Yamaha to take a famous victory here in Aragon, a victory which is going to haul Morbidelli right back in championship contention. He's blitzing away from Rins here.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Morbidelli. His pace, he's just maintaining it. He's still in the late 48s. No one can live with that right now. There is Maverick Vinales, who might yet drop back to 7th place because Miguel Oliveira is closing and he can hold a better line, and he's through as well. These 2 are old, fierce rivals from the Spanish Championship back in the day, and Maverick Vinales, then another championship rival, drops another place. And look at this, Aleix Espargaro hot on the heels of Fabio Quartararo.
What does Aleix Espargaro always say about the factory of Aprilia? He can manage the tyres for a strong charge late on. The gap between Morbidelli and Rins has crept up to over a second for the very first time. Rins running out of time maybe, and running out of time to get up on the case of Franco Morbidelli.
Well, so is Joan Mir. He was 4/10 slower on that last lap than Franco Morbidelli out front.
Yeah, Mir's not had the pace of the 2 men ahead of him for quite some time now. I think Joan Mir's probably thinking, with a big gap back to Johann Zarco, don't do anything stupid, don't take too many risks. 16 World Championship points up for grabs here. You're increasing your lead in the championship. Not the win you wanted, but it's another crucial podium.
What a gigantic result this would be for the likes of Morbidelli and Alex Rins as we head into the final 3 rounds as well. Here is Franco Morbidelli out front, Alex Rins up behind, trying everything to claw that gap back down. It's got to a second now. There's Joan Mir, championship leader, exiting turn 15. There's 5 laps remaining here.
It looks like, doesn't it, that Morbidelli's got him pretty comfortably covered right now. Put him in this position in Misano, and he never looked like he was going to crack and buckle under pressure. He was the epitome of a composed rider at the front, Franco Morbidelli.
Well, this was the race we were expecting from Morbidelli last week.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he backed himself to do this. Better late than never, I guess.
4 laps remain for Franco Morbidelli to take his 2nd win of the year and lunge up towards the top guys in the World Championship. He's done a brilliant job so far, the Petronas Yamaha SRT man, and again just nudges the likes of Lynn Jarvis and co when it comes to the machinery that he's on.
Yeah, I mean, he's been told it's crystal clear there'll be no machinery upgrade from him, but at the moment there's not a lot wrong with the B-spec Yamaha, is there? Rins, every time he tries to get in a hot lap, Morbidelli just matches it. yet again on that last lap. There was nothing between the two of them. They exchanged 49.4s.
Well, as it stands right now, Davide Brivio and Suzuki are on for their third race where two Suzukis are on the podium. Will there be a winner though? At the moment it looks unlikely. The gap now 1.1 between Morbidelli and Alex Rins.
I think it was 1981 the last time Suzuki had two bikes on a Premier Class podium in back-to-back races. So in other words, a heck of a long time ago.
Ika Lecuona doing a brilliant job here as well. In 10th place, here comes Danilo Petrucci, and that'll be a sorry sight for Andrea Dovizioso, although Petrucci's well wide. Stefan Bradl still there as well. It's the battle for 12th place between the factory Ducatis.
Yeah, you just wonder whether Dovi's went out of rear grip trying to get himself into that top 10 contention.
Over the line goes Franco Morbidelli in the top left of your screen with 3 laps now remaining for him, and he's got 1.2 seconds in his back pocket over Alex Rins.
Rins has nothing for him. What about Pol Espargaro? Fires up the inside of Johan Zarco, and he takes 4th place on the factory KTM. These two, of course, teammates last year. And Zarco's got more trouble potentially coming his way from his old employers as well, because Oliveira's coming into contention too.
Well, 2 KTMs in the top 5 would be some result for them based on where they were this time 1 week ago.
And P5 for number 5 Zarco, that's no disgrace. He's been clearly the leading light for Ducati throughout this Grand Prix. He would have learned a lot racing in the top 3 at the start of the race. He doesn't need to learn too much about the package ahead of him, of course. He was on board it last year.
So there is no late show from Joan Mir. Is he just thinking about this championship a little here? Is it coming into his mind? He'll be informed of the whereabouts of Quartararo. He'll know that he's faded. Likewise Vinales, likewise Dovizioso, who has now firmly fallen behind Danilo Petrucci. Is this the day that Dovi says goodbye to the 2020 World Championship? And here comes Miguel Oliveira challenging for the top 5 and makes it 2 KTMs in the top 5, going through on Johan Zarco.
Zarco knew it was coming. He had a good long look. Oh, there you go, Johan Zarco.
Sit up.
He knew it was coming because he looked over his left shoulder at turn 7 and got a face full of Oliveira's number 88. But you know he's going to fight tooth and nail Johan Zarco in this battle for 5th. Miguel Oliveira has had a pretty good fight with 2 Frenchmen today, hasn't he?
He really has. It's been a fantastic job from him and Pol Espargaro. Meanwhile, out front with 3 laps remaining, Rins has waved the white flag.
Yeah, it's over, isn't it? I mean, in terms of the race win, Franco Morbidelli's got a real comfortable buffer now. He's just stretching away. 1.5 seconds he leads Rins now. Mir's definitely locked down into championship mode. Ruben Chaus.
Who's gone down? Someone's gone down. Someone did not come across the line. The name's just tumbled down the left. Is it Aleix Espargaro?
Yeah, it's not.
It is. Oh, it's not a mechanical.
Oh, that's
Goodness
cruel.
me, that is cruel.
Because he's ridden his heart out today, Aleix Espargaro.
He was chasing down Fabio Quartararo at that particular moment.
I was just looking at the 3 boxes on the left-hand side of the screen just to check that it was none of our top 3 men.
So this is on the approach to turn 16, yeah, and look, it's almost like there was no brakes, or just the engine's just cut out. What on earth has happened there? What a shame.
That. He did not deserve that, Aleix Espargaro, because he was doing a fantastic job.
Well, Franco Morbidelli, take a bow so far. 2 laps remain in this race here in Teruel, and you can see he is struggling a bit with tyre life, but who isn't at this stage of the race? At the moment, there is your championship leader, Joan Mir. This will be another podium for him.
Well, Morbidelli and Rins locked elbows and had contact going down into turn 1, but since then nobody's laid a glove on this man. He's been absolutely awesome. It's been a masterclass from Morbidelli here in Motorland. Alex Rins has really tried to put the pressure on, but he has not been able to get anywhere near him. The gap's always been hovering around half a second for the first 2/3 of the race. And then these latter laps, Morbidelli has just been able to eke away from Rins relatively comfortably.
The final lap of the race here in Motorland. It's going to be bittersweet for some of the guys in the Petronas Yamaha camp, with Quartararo down in 8th, but this man will be over the moon. Ramon Facada. What a job they've done here this weekend. And it looks like that New Orleans shock is working rather well for Franco Morbidelli, because there's been no drop in tyre for him.
No.
A little there has, but then for everyone there has. But this has just been outstanding.
And you can see Rins has just taken his medicine now. He's going, okay, yeah, I'm not fast enough, being beaten by the better man on the day. 45 points in a week, though. Represents a good 7 days for Alex Rins in terms of his championship.
And again, the same man is there, with up and down results, with different winners here, with different manufacturers having their highs and lows.
Yeah.
The same man is finishing on the podium, and that's Joan Mir. 6 podiums in 8 races this will be.
Yeah, and it's that consistency in this kind of up and down season which is going to be decisive. He does not want to be the MotoGP world champion, though, doesn't he, without winning a single race. It's only ever happened once in the current 3-class format. Emilio Alzamora, 125cc world champion in 1999. You know that Mir is desperate to take that first win if he is to be world champion.
Alex Rins here said at the start of the weekend, nothing to lose? No, not quite. I'm still in the championship. Yesterday, Morbidelli made it quite clear that he's not out of it yet. And you think of how the season started for these two and the contrasting fortunes of them as well. They could be arguably leading this world championship had fortune gone their way, but today they've both been mesmerising.
From the first corner, Franco Morbidelli has been absolutely faultless. He's been flawless, and as we come into the final corner, we can finally say, Frankie, you can relax.
You definitely can relax. This has been a masterclass from Morbidelli in Motorland. A brilliant win, his second of the season. The number 21 does it, and 2 Suzuki's on the podium again. Alex Rins in contention for this World Championship. And Joan Mir third. An outstanding job from Polish Spargo fourth. And just across the line there, that's close. Really close. Zarco, I think, just gets it ahead of Oliveira.
Vinales takes 7th. Quartararo 8th. Bad days for them. Even worse for Andrea Dovizioso, who's coming over the line in 13th place. Bradl got him late on as well. What happened late on to Dovi? Did he just run out of rear tyre? Because he was doing 51s, he was almost in the 52s. Late on was Andrea Dovizioso. Hats off, though, to this man. Petronas star Franco Morbidelli gets the congratulations from his teammate Fabio Quartararo. Stunning success for Morbidelli, his 2nd win of the season, of course. He won the opening race of the doubleheader in Misano, his home Grand Prix.
Well, there you have it. Look at the championship. 32 points, covering 6 riders with 3 races to go. Franco Morbidelli, well, that was just a quality ride. And Valentino Rossi, watching back at home, who we hope to have back in Valencia, must be so proud of his man.
Yeah, that's a good little tonic for Valentino Rossi. Thumbs up from Franco Morbidelli. Absolutely outstanding ride by him. Pretty sure it is back-to-back double podiums for Suzuki for the first time since 1980. Well, let's go and talk, though, I'm sure, to a very happy Petronas racing boss, Wilco Zeelenberg, after his man Franco Morbidelli delivered a masterclass here in Aragon. Simon, down to you.
Yes, Wilco, did you see it like I did? What a beautiful, faultless ride from Franco.
Yes, indeed. So he had a great pace already during the practices. Of course, fantastic qualifying, great start. And as he basically also won in Misano, he did it again, basically. He kept his pace going, and yeah, he had an unbelievable pace. So
congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I remind you, when it comes to Franco Morbidelli, that he had an engine problem that ruled him out of what looked like an all but certain podium in Andalusia. Of course, the horror smash in Austria with Johann Zarco, and the following week only picking up a point. And to be honest, most were surprised he was even out on circuit. It could have been so different for him. And then Alex Rins, look at this guy, didn't even start the opening race of the season. 10th then on his recovery ride in Andalusia, crashed out of the lead in Austria, crashed out of podium contention in France as well.
And it looks like there was a late tactical masterstroke pulled by this man, his crew chief Ramon Ficada. He went onto that medium rear tyre on the grid. He changed last minute, apparently, to go onto that medium rear tyre. How crucial and decisive was that decision? Quartararo, well, you can clearly see what he thought his problems were today. He has a real good long glare at that rear tyre. 8th place for Fabio Quartararo. Can you believe it now? That means 6 of his last 8 finishes have been outside the top 6. It's been a pretty forgettable 7 days here in Aragon for the former World Championship leader.
Well, Franco Morbidelli's had more top 5s this year now than both Maverick Vinales and Quartararo. Morbidelli's just 11 behind Quartararo and only 6 behind Maverick Vinales.
That's a cracking ride by Johan Zarco
really
as well.
isn't it? It really is. A 10th last week from 16th on the grid, a 5th in Le Mans, and another 5th here.
Head and shoulders above anybody else on a Ducati here this weekend in qualifying and in the race, and he fought, as we knew he would do, right down to the checker flag. This was a great battle. Miguel Oliveira, he had to deal with a couple of flying Frenchmen today, didn't he?
He wasn't giving up on that top 5, was he? Fantastic racing, and well done to KTM. They have 3 riders in the top 10. Iker Lecuona finishing in 9th across the line. Dovi ended up finishing behind Bradl, 13th place.
Terrible, absolutely shocking from Dovizioso. That equals Iker Lecuona's career best 9th place. Andrea Migno congratulating race winner Franco Morbidelli. It's another double podium for the factory Suzuki team and an extension of Joan Mir's World Championship lead. So I'm sure Davide Brivio, the team boss, is pretty happy with Simon.
Yes, Davide, you went into the race, you know, Suzuki is one of the favourites, and you did it. 2 bikes again on the podium. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, 3rd time in a season, 2nd time in a row. I mean, it was a congratulations to Franco. He did a good race, and but our guy was good. I mean, Alex, I think he tried probably the soft tire in the front. I don't know. We have to see. And John, I mean, he did a very good race, starting from 12th position. We needed to recover, especially stay in front of the others. So I would say almost perfect. So let's continue like this.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've got to say that ultimately speaking, Joan Mir from 12th on the grid to finish 3rd. A really, really solid result for him. He's now got a 14-point lead heading into Valencia. You know, when you're looking at the other Yamahas of Vinales and Quartararo fading, it makes you just even more impressed with the result of this guy.
Yeah, brilliant, absolutely incredible performance. That's a 5th win, isn't it now, for Yamaha's non-factory team. Heady days in just their 2nd year for Petronas Yamaha SRT. A very happy Stewie Miller, a long-serving mechanic from Franco Morbidelli, both in MotoGP and in Moto2. And a warm embrace as well from Ramon Furcada. How crucial was that switch onto the medium rear tyre on the grid? What a job. Both of his wins have been flag-to-flag victories, haven't they? He's survived and rallied against intense pressure. Matt Lloyd down there as well. Great scenes for Petronas Yamaha SRT, and their man Franco Morbidelli is now got himself right back into championship contention.
Fantastic effort.
There'll be a bit of samba dancing going on later on, won't there? The man with the South American roots. Yeah. Number 21 in P1 in Parc Fermé here in Aragon.
25 points down in the championship overall. An outstanding effort from Pol Espargaro, 8th in the World Championship, a 4th place finish for him.
By far the best we've seen from a KTM rider in Motorland Aragon. It's been a bit of a bogey circuit for the Austrian brand over recent years, but Pol Espargaro, outstanding. Got into that 4th place and dropped Zarco pretty comfortably.
It looked like the decision to go soft for Alex Rins was not a bad one either. Puts the hair in a bun. Franco Morbidelli, one of the coolest men in the paddock.
Barely looks like he's broken sweat, doesn't he? Franco Morbidelli, such a cool customer. Alex Rins, I think, just saying to him, how did you have that speed? Rins threw everything at him, but Franco Morbidelli just never looked for 1 second like he was going to crack. Joan Mir then 3rd here in Aragon. He extends his lead in the MotoGP World Championship. Let's hear what he's got to say about it with Simon in Parc Fermé.
Joan, from 12th on the grid to another great podium. I thought you may have had the speed to put pressure on the front two late in the race. Were you thinking about the championship, or it just wasn't possible?
Well, honestly, today to give a bit more was a bit too much. I think that we made a really good race, but the guys that was in front of me in that moment, they were a bit far at the beginning, and I couldn't recover distance. They were super fast, so congrats to them. I couldn't be faster today. I gave the 100%. Probably using more tire at the beginning penalized me a little bit on the end, but it's okay. Another podium is an amazing result. 12 on the grid, so today a podium is like like a victory. It's okay.
Great job, Joan.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Simon. Thanks to Joan Mir. Just love hearing that young man talk. Such a mature head on young shoulders. And admitting today he was beaten by two faster men. Simple as that. Did he use up those tyres perhaps a little bit quicker than what he wanted, having to come through from the fourth row of the grid? Well, hindsight's a wonderful thing. Third place feels like a victory. The victory that continues to elude Joan Mir as a MotoGP rider, but perhaps more crucially and significantly right now, he extends his lead in the World Championship. Back-to-back podiums own his home Grand Prix for Alex Rins. He's a title contender as well. Here's with Simon in Parc Ferme.
Alex, another great performance. Please tell us about your race.
Thank you very much. Sincerely, was a good race, much faster than the last weekend. I think Franco demonstrated very high potential. I tried to follow him, but was so difficult. I think me and Maverick was the unique riders with the soft front. So on the beginning of the race I was good with the soft, no? But lap by lap I was feeling like a bit of closing. And I say, okay, Alex, relax a little bit, go with him and try to finish on the podium, no? And the end was like this.
Big congratulations.
Thank you very much, thank you.
Yeah, great job that by Alex Rins. Good to see him back to his physical best and back to his best on top of that factory Suzuki, because when they're working in tandem together, well, they pose a very formidable challenge in the MotoGP World Championship. Today, though, it was all about formidable Frankie, who was untouchable at the front of the Aragon Grand Prix, starting on the front row, which is so crucial, isn't it, for Yamahas. 9 of their 10 podiums this year have come from front row starts, as Alex Rins celebrates with the marshals what could prove to be a crucial second place here for him. He's 6th in the World Championship now, only 32 points adrift of teammate Joan Mir. But here he is then, your race winner in Aragon. A brilliant performance by Franco Morbidelli. He's with Simon in Parc Ferme.
Absolutely beautiful ride, Franco. From the outside it looked faultless. What did it feel like on the inside?
Amazing. It really was a trip. I knew I had to make an aggressive race, and actually when I saw clean air in front of me, I just decided to give everything I got every single lap. The concentration was very high. The riding feeling was amazing. 23 laps went away like this. It was incredible. I knew I had to give everything, and we did a great job also with the team, because the consistency was there. We adjusted the bike very well to be fast throughout all race, so I was able to focus in riding precisely and aggressive at the same time. I had so much fun. This is amazing. This win goes to the team. They worked amazingly, and I need to thank them. And yeah, now we're on.
Huge congratulations, Franco.
Thank you.
You are on, yeah. Franco Morbidelli. That race was 7 seconds quicker today than the race last week. Franco himself, I mean, thanking the team, I'm not surprised. 13 seconds
That's
quicker.
half a lap. They found half a lap in 7 days, haven't they? 23 laps, 13 seconds. That equates to around half a second per lap quicker than what he was in the race last weekend. Outstanding job. Progress, certainly in terms of his race performance today and in terms of his championship. It is on, very much game on for this man. 2 Petronas Yamaha SRT, that man then fighting for the world title. Did not put a foot wrong. Absolutely brilliant performance that by Franco Morbidelli. He said with clear air in front of him, he just tried to get his head down, push as hard as he could, and then try and manage the gap. Alex Rins, that's a very solid second place for him.
Fantastic scenes from Franco Morbidelli. That's good to see as well. There you can see Andrea Minio going over to congratulate him. Marco Bezzecchi there as well, who's got a Moto2 race coming up shortly. Don't go anywhere for that. That's coming up soon.
Yeah, the podium celebration is about to get underway then here in Motorland Aragon after a famous first ever Teruel Grand Prix. Hats off to this man as well, Johann Zarco, because he got in some real dogfights throughout that race. And the number 5 came home in P5. As we mentioned, he was by far the superior Ducati man from Saturday afternoon onwards. No other Ducati anywhere near him. And there were some cracking rides in that race. He just about held off Miguel Oliveira, didn't he? He fought for a long time with Fabio Quartararo, did the Portuguese man as well.
Yeah, had to get the barricades out today, didn't he? That was some prime defensive work going on from Johann Zarco here today.
Yeah, good job. That's only his 3rd top 6 in 11. So a great job by the Sponsorama Racing man. There you can just see Franco Morbidelli about to come to the top step of the podium for the 2nd time in his MotoGP career. It's a very happy one-sided Petronas Yamaha SRT, that's for sure. And Ramon Furcada, who recently notched up his 500th Grand Prix. You don't find too many more men, more experience than that man, coming to take the Constructor Prize for the Malaysian team, Petronas Yamaha SRT. Johan Stiggerfeldt there in the black mask, just getting ready to celebrate with Franco Morbidelli. Joan Mir, 3rd place, said it felt like a victory given how much hard work he had to do to come from the 4th row of the grid in 12th. Back-to-back podiums for factory Suzuki rider Alex Rins. He said on Thursday, don't rule me out of the World Championship, and he showed exactly why today. And yesterday, Franco Morbidelli said he was still a big contender for this 2020 MotoGP World Championship, and boy, today did he prove it. Morbidelli onto the top step of the podium for the 2nd time this season, and he's climbed up to 4th place now in the World Championship, taking over that spot from Andrea Dovizioso. Ignacio Beneda, the FIM Deputy President, has the honour of handing over the Constructor Trophy then to Ramon Furcada, crew chief to Franco Morbidelli. He's getting used to this right now, isn't he? Joan Mir, the 23-year-old Spaniard. That is his 26th career podium. Pilar Molinero from the Aragon authorities handing over a 6th MotoGP prize to Joan Mir. Alex Rins, well, that's podium number 51 for him. Ignacio Beneda handing over the prize to the 24-year-old. His 11th MotoGP podium. And Managing Director of the Aragon Development Institute, Pilar Molinero, hands over a 2nd MotoGP race-winning trophy to Franco Morbidelli, his 10th victory of his Grand Prix career. And as he said, it's game on for Morbidelli in the World Championship in 2020.
Franco Morbidelli wins here the Liquimoli Grand Prix of Teruel and is back in the hunt for the World Championship. That will have kept Italian fans very happy indeed, and also those of you in South America and Brazil from his Brazilian roots, no doubt loving that one, whatever time of day it is over there where you're watching from. Ramon Furcada there, he just gets an absolute soaking from Prosecco, but he won't mind too much.
Great job that by Franco Morbidelli. He's only the 4th independent team rider to podium here in Aragon since we arrived here in 2010. And he's the 1st non-Spaniard in 10 to win here on Aragon soil. The only other non-Spanish wins were for a certain Australian, Casey Stoner, back in 2010 and 2011.